He always believed his secrets were safe. Confident in his charm and wealth, Adrian Cortez never imagined the truth would catch up with him. That morning, dressed in his sharpest suit, his arm tightly wrapped around a woman who wasn't his wife, he stepped proudly into the glowing lobby of the city's most luxurious five-star hotel. The marble floor shone like water under the morning light. Crystal chandeliers glittered like stars, and the air itself seemed to whisper of elegance and indulgence. Adrian moved through the space as if he owned it. For years, he had hidden behind his influence, his status, and his money, believing nothing could shake the world he had built. But in the very moment he reached for his platinum card to hand it to the receptionist, his entire life froze. Because across the grand lobby, walking with a calm authority that silenced every whisper, was the last person he ever expected to see. His wife, Celeste. Yet she wasn't the quiet, broken woman he had once left behind. She wasn't there with tears in her eyes or questions in her heart. This time, she stood as the new owner of the empire Adrian thought was his alone. And with a single glance, his carefully crafted mask of power shattered into pieces. Before we move further into this powerful story, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the strength of forgiveness, please like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to Kindness Talks. Your support allows us to continue sharing stories that truly touch the heart. Adrian and Celeste's story had begun years before this shocking scene. Adrian had once been the kind of man every woman admired. Driven, protective, and endlessly romantic. Celeste, radiant in her quiet grace, had been his greatest support. She stood beside him in the early days, when all they had were dreams and determination. Together, they built a business, a home, and what seemed like an unshakable life. But as Adrian's success grew, so did his hunger for more. The man who once cherished his wife slowly changed. Late nights at work turned into unexplained absences. Whispers on the phone became routine. His touch grew colder, his smile more distant. And eventually, Adrian found himself in the arms of another. A young, glittering socialite named Serena, who adored his wealth but cared nothing for his soul. Celeste noticed everything. The forgotten anniversaries, the perfume lingering on his shirts, the hotel receipts that didn't make sense. Her heart broke silently, even as the world praised her as the perfect wife. Behind her elegant smile, she was slowly falling apart. But what Adrian didn't realize was that Celeste's strength ran deeper than he ever knew. Instead of drowning in despair, she poured her pain into something new. A secret investment, a project built from her own resilience and intelligence. With every betrayal, she sewed together a future that would one day free her completely. So when Adrian walked into that hotel with Serena, thinking it was just another day of indulgence, destiny had already prepared his reckoning. The lobby smelled faintly of roses. The staff greeted him with respect, and Serena clung to his arm, proud to be seen with him. He smiled, believing life was under his control. But then came Celeste. Dressed in a cream-colored suit that radiated elegance, she walked across the lobby with unshakable poise. Her gaze fell on Adrian, not with bitterness, but with power. She wasn't there as a betrayed wife. She was there as the leader who now owned everything he thought was his. Adrian's hand trembled as he passed the card to the receptionist, who now looked nervously between the two. Serena, still oblivious, whispered flirtatiously until the tension in the air made her fall silent. Guests turned to look, staff began to whisper. And Celeste's footsteps echoed through the marble hall like thunder before a storm. Her silence was louder than anger. Her presence alone reminded Adrian of everything he had thrown away. The love, the trust, the family they had once built together. He wanted to speak, to defend himself, but no words came. Serena shifted uncomfortably, realizing she could never compete with the quiet strength standing before her. Celeste didn't need revenge. She didn't need to expose him. Her power was in her dignity. She wasn't the woman waiting at home anymore. She was the woman who had risen above, untouchable and unshaken. For Adrian, the truth landed like a crushing wave. He had traded gold for glitter, love for lust, loyalty for illusion. The glamorous world he chased suddenly felt empty. Serena, once exciting, now looked shallow and meaningless compared to the grace and depth of the woman he had lost. Yet Celeste carried no hatred. She had the chance to humiliate him, but chose silence instead. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than all the words in the world. She turned her gaze away. Not because she was running from him, but because her life no longer revolved around his choices. She had created her own future, and in that moment she was free. The staff admired her. Guests whispered her name with respect. Serena stared in envy. And Adrian, for the first time in his life, was left with nothing but regret. In the days that followed, Adrian was haunted by memories. Her gentle voice in the mornings. The coffee she used to make. The nights she stayed awake waiting for him. He realized too late that true success had never been the wealth or empire. It had been Celeste's love, her loyalty, and her faith in him when he had nothing. He lost her, not because she wasn't enough, but because he failed to see she was everything. Meanwhile, Celeste thrived. Under her leadership, the hotel transformed into more than a symbol of luxury. It became a haven for resilience, a tribute to second chances. Guests whispered not just about her elegance, but about her story. The woman who turned heartbreak into strength, betrayal into empowerment. Celeste didn't just own the hotel. She embodied it, graceful, unshakable, and radiant. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to Kindness Talks. Together, we can spread more stories of strength, healing, and the quiet power of kindness. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What lesson do you take from Celeste's journey? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your words might inspire someone who needs hope today. Because in the end, Adrian and Celeste's story is not only about betrayal. It is about transformation. It's about dignity, resilience, and the choice to rise above pain. And as Celeste stood in the golden light, streaming through the hotel's tall windows, the world no longer saw a woman left behind. They saw a woman reborn,